Okay, so for Unit 11, Chapter 4, we're describing reactions. It's going to be a lot of asking a hypothetical question and saying, hey, if this happened, how would you respond? Or how would you feel? And that is basically the goal of the chapter. Is by the end of this, we're going to learn a whole bunch of vocab. And I say a whole bunch, it's like 3 pages, 3 slides worth of vocab. And then, so asking the hypothetical question. Now, how do we ask a hypothetical question? I want to move this. Hold on, sorry. I want to move this over one more. There. Okay. A little bit clearer. Okay. So if you take your pinky and put it under your eye, it's like, suppose, imagine if, what if this happened? So suppose, here's hypothetical question. The book refers to it as asking a hypothetical question, but it's suppose. Is basically the English word we would use. So say, suppose, and then how would you feel, or feel how, or what would you do, or you respond how. You respond, so like say respond how, or how. All right. So that's a couple of the ways to ask a hypothetical question. So now, again, lots of vocab. And these are all will be broken down in the vocab section of this, and also I'll add a separate slideshow. So these are in your book as well with pictures. Some of the slides in here are going to be pictures. I tried to include GIFs, whichever your preference, and it just slows down my computer, or any computer, when you have too many. So I'm trying to avoid doing that, because that can, especially if you have a slow internet connection, it's already bad enough that these videos are as large as they are. So anyway, sentimental. Take your middle finger and touch your heart. It means, it touched my heart. Easiest way. Sentimental reaction. Usually it's positive with a little bit of pathos. Frightened. I was scared, or it was scary. There's thrill. This is more like inspire versus thrill as in joyous. I was so excited. Excited is a constant state of joy, 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 joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Depressed. You can either do it with the full hand down, or you can do it with the middle finger. This tends to be an inner feeling where the inside is revealed. We use it for bald because there's no hair. We use it for feeling itself. Sick because we feel sick on the inside. Right? So depressed, thrilled, disappointed. So pout. Find that dimple. Put a finger in your chin butt. It wasn't as effective as I thought it would be. Disappointed. Nervous. Worried. You'll sometimes see with like W's, or this is for trouble. So I would say worried, or this is probably the best one for worried. Similar to scared, but you're just kind of wiggling this thing. Worried. Upset. 2 signs for upset. One is fingerspelled, upset. U-P-S-E-T. U up, P down, S to fist, E-T. So S-E-T. It kind of opens and closes. S-E-T. Upset. Many times, the finger spelling will be the sign for something. It can also be used as an emphasis. We have the sign for shy, right? Just take the back of your hand, kind of like you're turning up your collar or hiding behind something. So shy. So people will also, for emphasis, fingerspell it. Shy. Ooh. Okay. So fingerspelling can oftentimes be a real form of emphasis. Another one for upset is place your hand on your chest and then flip it over. So you go from upset, and oftentimes I kind of hit it. If you have sensitive areas here, don't do that. You can brush up against it. Angry, furious. So we have angry, mad, grouchy. But to be really Hulk-like anger, take your claws, kind of like you're throwing your hockey jersey off because you're so mad. I'm going to fight now. Right? Anger, ire, furious. Puzzled? Little question mark forms in your forehead. Huh? Shocked. Like stunned. I saw, or I think, my thinking was frozen. Right? So shocked. Oh. Well, this one, there's a couple of different ones for astonishment. In this case, it's like the jaw dropping open. You've seen it like movies and cartoons like so jaw drops open. Feeling a sheepish just put embarrassment, right? A sheepish reaction to learning you made a fool of yourself. Embarrassed. So the blood comes rushing to your face. Embarrassed. Oh, you kind of feel flustered. Yeah, jump back. Shock. The book shows shock with full hands. It's basically the same as shock. I just learned it with an index finger. But you can, shock. Embarrass. There's another, what the book shows for the sheepish reaction. This is a very ASL sign, and you'll see it a lot. Similar to, this is if you took the bait, hook, line, and sinker kind of thing, where, I kind of embarrassed myself. I fell for it. And this is oftentimes signed at the same time, where it's like, I feel kind of full. My throat catches like a, oh gosh, I feel so embarrassed. I tend to sign this more often than I sign this. Embarrassed. This is much more of a, I was, trying to think when the last time I signed this was. I tend to not use it. An annoyed reaction. It's going to seem weird. It feels gross. I was so annoyed with myself. I felt so gross. I felt so unclean. Right? And, annoyed reaction towards yourself after realizing you should have known better. I was disgusted with myself. That's what the best way of saying this is. Okay, so the book says an embarrassed reaction upon realizing others have witnessed your predicament. Embarrassed. So the book kind of flips those around. So sheepish reaction is an internal. Oh, nuts! I hope no one saw me. And then you realize, oh God, they saw me. Now I'm embarrassed. Elated reaction, that great joy, jumping for joy, literally, right? You're jumping, jump. Oh, I'm so excited. And being free from worry. It's also a sign for satisfied or relieved. relieved goes down because you're like, oh. One idea of one other sign that we could do. No, I think that's good. Worry. That was the one. We said worry. You can also do this for worry. It's like concerned. I'm having second thoughts. I'm nervous about something. So nervous or concerned. Middle fingers. Sort of poke, 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 poke. Now, we've gone through all these, and now we're on some weird vocab. So pie. So cut slices of pie. You will sometimes see it with a P. Very signed English. But if that's the first one you learned, that's going to be your instinct. So pie. Pie. Not pie. Different kind. Nuts. Now, we're assuming like peanuts, walnuts, cashew nuts, macadamia nuts. If anybody's seen Best in Show. Okay. So I remember it because if you get peanut butter stuck to the roof of your mouth, it will be there for a while as you're trying to get it off. So, right. So nut. Preacher. Preacher. So this is to preach. We know to teach. Now this is preach with the F hand shape. I don't know why it's an F hand shape, although it's maybe more specific. Preacher. Preacher. Priest. Priest. Like a Catholic priest has the collar. Priest. Priest. I'm trying to think of if it's not worth going into. We could go off on a whole other tangent. There's enough vocab here. Dirt. Dirt. So dirt or dirty. Dirt. Sometimes you'll see this too, like, oh, there's like dirt. The ground. Electricity. And it's 2 X's. Run out of. If you've got stuff here, I've got a cup and I run out. The amount gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it's gone. Okay. Run out. Run out. To be permanently. This goes through. There's so many more. What they're using for erased, to be scrubbed, deleted. It also looks like the old sign for credit card. But erase, take your pencil and rub it real hard and erase it, right? So to erase permanently. There are some other signs. We're just going to go with that simple one. We did forget, right? So it's a similar idea, but it's also similar to the sign for clean. I've seen this for deleted. Like delete that, omit that. To request or apply for admission to a university. To apply. You can. This is more like a job application. You can volunteer for something or apply. Ooh, pick me, pick me, pick me. So either one you'll see. I filed an application or applied there. I said pick me. Sad and lonely because one is alone. So one person, it's kind of like disappointed. I'm disappointed I'm alone, right? I know we're all feeling that right now with this whole quarantine thing, right? So 1 year one has not friends or company. I don't know why that's not no. Oh, you know what? This is a typo in their slideshow. No friends or company. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. At the very end of. So, okay. There's a couple of different ones in here, and the picture is a little bit weird in the book. There are a couple of concepts that I'm going to show that Uh, you can choose from depending on the situation, but they almost all apply. We know this for finish, right? So at the end of it's done. We know that someone who completes task does this, right? Oh, he completes tasks regularly. We also know last, right? So if we got a list of things and this is the last one. I'm trying to think of what other times. So last, end, or finish. So any of those could apply to be at the very end of. So if you're like at the end of the movie, to be full, no vacancy, full. This is a weird thing. If you've got a cup, you've got it's full, like right at the top, right? Full. Plenty is when it's overflowing. My cup overfloweth, right? Plenty. Full, plenty, enough. If you're telling someone, whoa, 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 that's enough coffee. Enough, enough, enough. So full, plenty, enough. So those are three different signs, all with the same basic concept. Publishing company, publish print, gets soaked or wet. Publishing or printing, it's like putting the little letters, or if you've got an old dot matrix. To publish or print, it's also a sign for newspaper. And to get soaked or wet. So squish it, squeeze the water out, wet. Very similar sign for soft. Usually the facial expressions are like, that's soft. I'm all wet. That's soft. I'm all wet. Cool. So that's all the vocab. Now we go through and the pictures in here are a little clearer than the ones in the book for the most part. And again, I'd put GIFs in here, but it would slow this down. A whole bunch of different pictures from upset, angry. That's her Hulk picture. Puzzled reaction. I just want to clarify. It bends as it goes up to her forehead. Don't do this because that's a sign for horny. So you're giving a totally different message of so just be careful. Shocked, jaw open, sheepish. Now, we normally will practice this in the classroom, hypothetical questions, figure out a couple of situations and ask someone what they would do. These videos will do that for you, provide you a little bit of conversation. So practice responding to these, and they will explain the situation and then ask the question. And there's a bunch of these. I think there are 15 of them. So take a look at those. And it's good to watch it once, then watch it the second time to get more specifics of what the signing is, and then respond to it. And make sure you're trying to incorporate any of the vocab that they give you. And then again, a couple more questions. How would you react? How would you sign that question? There's the challenge. How would you break that down? How would you react if returning home from a 3-month vacation, you receive an $800 electric bill? So what if you went on vacation 3 months, come home or arrive home, electric bill, $800. What would you do? Or you respond how? Okay. So a couple more questions. So each of the times we're giving a hypothetical sign, The sequence of events. So if you think about how would you break that down? Okay, so what did you do first? What did you do next? What did you do last? And then how would you respond? In English, we sometimes move things around, right? How we phrase things might not follow the timeline, the chronology of what we're talking about. In ASL, we want to follow the chronology. We don't want to jump back and forth. That gets confusing. So we want to go back to the beginning. You went on vacation 3 months. Finish, come back home, fine, get the mail, electric bill, $800. What would you do? Or respond how? Right? So you might have to rearrange the English. So I want you to step back and think about what is the sequence of events that would lead up to that. And here, just practicing coming up with hypothetical questions. And then in these situations, one person presents a situation and asks the other two signers how they would feel. And I'm putting in the videos right now, they're processing. But there are the questions. And again, these are questions not directly from the book. These are from the worksheets. They're follow-up activities that have to do with these videos. And I think there were 7. And then we get back to I've got to cut and paste that vocab to put it in there. So, and then all of the videos are put in here. So that is 11.4. It's just a lot more of like, how would you respond to this situation? Cool. Lots of vocab. Just practice that vocab to get used to it. Cool.